Hey, what's up everyone? This is Snackbox. Hope you all are having an amazing day. Guys, in today's video, I want to show my Sand Devil team that I've been using since quite a while now. Maybe some of you remember quite a long time ago. Somewhere earlier this year, I did a Sand Devil video and you guys engaged in that topic a lot. I haven't done a Sand Devil video in quite a long time. And I felt like maybe it's time again to show you my new team. I've been using this for a very long time now, and this is pretty much it. It's almost the same team, right? At first, I used Kaimar, for example, but now I'm actually using Marius too, okay? So this cannot fail. This is a 100% win rate because we have that guaranteed sleep from Siphi, and we have the Aniri Knut comp in here, which just cannot fail, okay? And this is kind of like the thing, the idea behind this. I wanted a team that cannot fail, where there's no 3% chance whatsoever. So if you have a Neri plus a damage dealer, there's nothing that can happen, right? There's nothing that can happen. Theoretically, if they are built right, they can duo the Sand Devil, and it's 100% win rate. So therefore, you can pretty much swap out Siphi for any champion that can place sleep, okay? Even if there's a 3% chance that the sleep doesn't place, you will still win the battle, which is the idea, the whole idea behind this team. Now let's take a look at the stats real quick before we go into the fight, just so you see the speeds and so on. So Aniri is on 205 speed, and that's pretty much all that I cared about. I also don't have anything on her preset, like I didn't choose anything here. But for Knut, I actually did. So I'm blocking the A2. I don't want him to use the A2. I just want him to use the A3. That's pretty much all that I want him to do. And he's at 280 speed, 100% crit rate, 300 crit damage. He can probably have lower crit damage than that because, you know, the max HP hit caps out at some point. But that's just where, you know, where he landed at. You can probably go with like 250, 260 crit damage and it's still enough. And then here's the Siphi. All right, so Siphi needs to be the fastest. 294. I blocked everything. I don't want Siphi to revive. I don't want Siphi to use the A2. I just want her to use the A1 to get that sleep going. It's an unresistible sleep, so it's definitely going to place. And that's why she is the GOAT for this role, okay? Then we have Marius. Marius needs to open up with the A2. That's pretty much all that I want him to do. The max HP hits. He's at 293 speed. I actually have to take off his banner. Let's do that real quick because he's too fast, right? I don't want him to be that fast. So let's take a look again. Now it should be fine. So he's at 267 speed. Okay, so it goes Siphi, then Geomancer. Geomancer needs to open up with A3. Okay, we don't need to prioritize it because he does it from the AI already. So Siphi goes first, puts up the sleep. Then Geomancer puts up the HP burn and the weaken. And here's the thing that can happen. 3% chance that the HP burn gets resisted. And then the run takes a little bit longer. But it still works. So if you have another max HP hitter, maybe a second Knut, you can just put him in here for instead of Geomancer. But if you don't, like most players, then just use a Geomancer. And yeah, so Siphi goes first, like I said, puts up the sleep. Geomancer follows with the weaken HP burn. Then Knut comes in with the A3. Max HP hits, 3 max HP hits. Then Marius with 3 max HP hits. And then the Sand Devil should wake up, nuke, get damage reflected from Geomancer's passive. Everyone dies. Godseeker Aniri revives herself with the revive on death. Then revives Knut and resets his skills, and he goes in with A3, and that's pretty much about it. Should be 10 turns in the best case scenario, which is most of the time the case. So let's jump right into it. Okay, let's see. So sleep, HP burn, weaken. We also decrease the turn meter, right? And there goes the nuke. Everyone dies. Revive. Knut goes in. 14 seconds, 10 turns. Boom. 110 points for the Sand Devil Turn Attack tournament. Now, theoretically, you can do this with Aniri and Knut in 20 turns as well, but you need to have a relatively fast Knut. All right, let's do this again, because it is so beautiful to watch. HP burn, weaken, max HP hits, more max HP hits, and nuke, everybody's dead, revive, boom. There we go. So as you can see, there's no way this can fail. Most of the time, it will be 10 turns. Actually, my best was 13 seconds. I don't know how that happened, but it happened. It is what it is. And yeah, that is my team. So let's go over the gear real quick. It's going to surprise you. So this is Marius basically in my PvP build. I have him in a lethal set. 6.4k defense, 267 speed. I had to take off the banner, so he's going after Knut. And yeah, that's pretty much all that I care about, right? I want to crit cap him. I want him to be fast enough, and 341 crit damage. He can probably have less than that. He has a 6-star blessing, so that might be important too, right? To deal enough damage to cap out that max HP hit, but maybe with weaken, you don't need that much. I also have the, 5-star Cat's Gaze on him. I don't think you need all this, okay? I don't think you need all this. I think, if you have a 6-star Crushing Rend or maybe a 5-star even, which I probably wouldn't do, but maybe you can also get away without it, okay? Maybe you can get away without it. I haven't tested it, but I don't think you necessarily need the Cat's Gaze and the Crushing Rend, because the max HP hit caps out at some point, like 300-something thousand. So it doesn't really matter. And then Helm Smasher on the masteries. Here's Knut. I just put a random banner on him. 280 speed, 5.5k defense. He's crit capped and 309 crit damage. Okay, that's all that I care about. He has the flash render. It doesn't really matter that much. Also, all of the champions are completely booked. And he has Helm Smasher on his masteries, but that's just for Chimera purposes. You don't really need that. One important thing that you need to know is that with Giant Slayer and Wallmaster procs, you also, it also counts as a hit on the Sand Devil. So you want to avoid that. You don't want to wake up the Sand Devil too early. That's one thing you have to pay attention to. Then we have Siphi right here. And as you can see, she only has 3 artifacts. And she's the fastest with 294 speed, okay? And that's all that I care about. I want her to be slower than 300 so she doesn't take an extra turn, okay? I want to avoid to take turns with champions that don't need to take a turn. That's why, 294 speed is perfectly fine. Do I have area bonuses? I'm not quite sure. No, I don't have any area bonuses, okay? Just so you know. So yeah, as I said, all you have to care about, like 295 speed, right? 294, 295, something like that. Then we have Geomancer. I haven't touched this build in quite a long time. 289 speed. And that's pretty much all that I care about with the accuracy. Now, you only need like 500, okay? You can stop at 500. You don't need 562. That's a little bit of an overkill. But I normally love to have a little bit more than, what is needed, because that's where you get the 97% chance to place that debuff. But 500 will be enough, okay? That's like a 96% chance to place a debuff. You don't necessarily need a reflex set. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't help. So you can just build him in whatever set. You also don't need a golden elixir. That's whatever. He needs to be completely booked on the A3. That is the most important part. And yeah, these are the masteries just for some additional accuracy, and nothing really important here for Sand Devil specifically. Then we have Godseeker Aniri. As you can see, I'm missing a gauntlet here. Normally, I would have her in a region set, but in my case, it doesn't even matter. But you want a region set on her, okay? You want her to have some survivability, and region is definitely needed, but not in this team, okay? 66k HP, 5.8k defense, 205 speed. And that's pretty much it. All I really care about with Aniri is if she dies, that she revives Knud. I also have a 6-star blessing, so you might want to pump up that HP, right? But that's the speed where you want to be at. No relic whatsoever. You can definitely give her something that gives her a little bit more survivability. Completely booked. And then these are the masteries. All right, guys. So I'm going to run it a couple more times. And I want to just highlight this a little bit, that Sand Devil turn attack tournaments are very important, all right? It's very important to get the oil from the Sand Devil for your gear, for your artifacts, for your progression. It helps a lot, but also the rewards are very important. You can stack up those coins, which are potential essences or immortal soulstones, and a immortal soulstone at the end, which is very important. And if you do this every now and then, you will end up with like 10 immortal soulstones until the next guaranteed deck of fate comes up, right? Which is very important. I just used up all my soulstones and I'm back with 28 mortals and 2 immortals, and I'm gonna get another one from the Sand Devil turn attack tournament. Okay, so I can't stress enough how important that is to, you know, complete these tournaments if you can. It just helps you with future events and tournaments. So yeah, guys, I'm gonna deplete my energy here. I'm gonna finish up the Sand Devil turn attack tournament. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button. It really goes a long way. Also, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more raid content. The YouTube algorithm's gonna suggest you a video that you might like right here, and see you in the next one.